Welcome to Cooking with Color for Kids, the cooking show that teaches you and your kids how to make healthy meals with colorful fresh fruits and vegetables. On today's show, we will learn about the New York City Coalition Against Hunger, meet some kids who have created fabulous dishes everyone can make at home, and Kristen will show us how to make 3 dishes for a fall menu. So let's meet our host, Kristen Hess, the Artful Gourmet.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen. Welcome to our fall menu edition. For this segment, we'll be focusing on cooking with ingredients that reflect the warm, rich colors of fall. Browns, reds, oranges, purples, and green, like the colors of the brilliant fall leaves. I'm going to be making today some maple date oatmeal bars with the tones of nutty, rich browns. Also, some roasted sweet potatoes with red and purple potatoes with a warm honey glaze and fresh green herbs. And lastly, healthy mini turkey meatloaves, chock full of veggies, which reflect the orange, green, red jewel tones of the season. But before I make the recipes, I'd like to talk for a minute about how we always try to make recipes on Cooking with Color that follow the USDA guidelines and Michelle Obama's Healthy Lunchtime Challenge. The USDA is the United States Department of Agriculture, and there are 5 criteria for the recipes, which should be 1, healthy. Veggies and fruits should make up half of the recipe and also include some low-fat dairy, whole grains, and lean protein. Number 2, they should be delicious. It should be fresh, simple, and yummy. Number 3, it should be original, and the dish should be something you've created, not one from a published source. Number 4, it should be affordable. No fancy ingredients are needed. And number 5, meaningful. We want to learn the story of how you came to make this dish. So today we have a special guest on Cooking with Color. Before I make today's dishes, I would like for you to meet Christine Binder, Child Nutrition Program Coordinator for the New York City Coalition Against Hunger. The New York City Coalition Against Hunger represents and is the voice for more than 1,100 nonprofit soup kitchens and food pantries in New York City, and the 1.4 million low-income New Yorkers who live in households that can't afford enough food. NYCA works not only to meet these residents' immediate food needs, but also to enact innovative solutions to help society move beyond the soup kitchen. One of NYCA's programs is the Farm Fresh CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. Farm Fresh CSA brings fresh, local, and organic produce into the neighborhoods in Upper Manhattan, the South Bronx, and Brooklyn. In 2013, the CSA program distributed over 91,000 pounds of local produce. So I would love for you to meet Christine Binder, Child Nutrition Program Coordinator from NYCA. Hi, Christine. How are you today?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, and thanks for being on the show. We love your whole idea and what you guys are doing around New York. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about some of your program initiatives that you guys are doing and a little bit more about your CSA and how we're helping families and kids around the city eat really great local food.
Sure. So we started a CSA because we believe that everyone, no matter their income, deserves healthy, fresh food, organic food. And so we started the CSA so we could bring in food from upstate New York, from an organic family farm to different boroughs of New York City. And the way that a CSA works is people pay for their shares of the CSA at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
And then throughout the season, for us, it's 20 weeks long.
Okay.
They get a bag or a box of whatever the farmer has picked that week.
That's great.
But sometimes paying all that money up front is difficult. So what we do is for people who receive SNAP benefits, we allow them to put a small down payment down, and then they pay weekly instead of all at the beginning. So
Okay.
it's a great way for, with just a little bit of money, using your SNAP benefits to get fresh organic food into neighborhoods that don't always have those things located at the grocery store.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And maybe, a lot of these people don't even realize what a CSA is. So how do you reach out to these people and let them know about your programs. Like, how can someone find out more about what you guys do and sign up? And
Well, our programs are actually very popular, and sign up usually happens in the spring.
Okay.
And then throughout the summer and fall, that's when people get their veggies. And if they want, they can also sign up for a fruit share. I would recommend going to our website, which is nycah.org. That's nyccah.org.
Okay.
They can find out more information about our CSAs. A lot of people also learn about our CSAs because they're members of our food action boards, or we call them FABs.
Okay.
And we have those in 6 neighborhoods across the city. And this is where groups of residents of those neighborhoods get together to try and make a difference and change the way that food works in their community.
Okay.
So they learn about advocacy. They decide what to do together. And then every year we actually bring a whole bunch of people to Washington to meet with other anti-hunger advocates and even lobby
great.
on the Hill.
That's great. And you guys do like potluck dinners and things. Like, it's just a nice social way to bring people together and celebrate food. And that's wonderful. So great. So now we are going to bring in some of the kids that Christine works with.
I'd like to introduce you to Brianna and Jahara.
Hi guys, how are you today?
Good.
Thanks for being on the show. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
We're so happy to have you, and you're wearing beautiful, bright colors. So, Christine was going to ask a few questions for you guys.
So I wanted to ask Brianna, what did you bring? What recipe did you bring to share with us today?
I brought broccoli soup.
And can you tell us how you made the broccoli soup?
Yes, first I got a pot and then I put water in the pot. And then I put the water to boil. And while the water was boiling, I put carrots, broccoli, potatoes, a dash of salt, and a clove of garlic on it. And then I let it stay there for 7 to 10 minutes. When the 7 to 10 minutes was done, I put it in the blender and let it blend. And then after it was done with the blender, I put milk in it, and then I put it in the pot, and then I put cheese on it. And you could choose cheddar cheese or mozzarella cheese. It's up to you which one you want to put, or you could put both. I put both, and you mix it all up. So you stir it, and then you leave it there for 2 minutes, and then it's done.
It sounds really, really yummy. Do you like to eat it?
Yes, I do. It's so delicious, and it's been passed. It's like a tradition. It's been passed from generations to generations because
that's great.
first it was my grandmother, then it was passed to my grandma, and then my mom, and now it's passed to me.
And when you have kids, do you think you'll pass it on to them?
Yes, because it's good for you and it's so delicious.
And tell me, what do you like to eat your soup with?
I like to eat the soup with bread.
Okay. And I know that you went to a cooking class and you learned how to make bread, right?
Yes.
Can you tell me more about how you make bread?
Well, I think first you have to have eggs, and then you have flour. So the flour is around it, and then you put eggs in the middle of it, and then you mix it together, and it makes dough. And then you put it in something, well, I don't know, and then
Plastic wrap?
you let it.
You let it sit for a while, right?
Then I let it sit for a while, and then it makes into bread.
And do you have to knead the dough to get to particular texture?
Yes.
Show me how you do that?
Well, to knead, you can punch it, or you can poke little holes in it, or you can do some other stuff with it or play with it.
And then after you're done playing with the dough, what do you do with it?
Then I let it sit for a few minutes.
And then you put it in an oven?
Yes.
Okay. And then once you're done with your bread, how do you like to eat it?
I think it would be better with sauce.
Like
don't know.
spaghetti sauce?
Yes, like,
Ooh, like toasted maybe some garlic bread or something.
yeah.
That sounds really, really good.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. You made some beautiful, colorful, yummy dishes for us today, and we are so happy to have you on the show. And we hope you keep cooking and have a lovely fall, and hope to see you out there in the neighborhoods and maybe join a potluck sometime. That'd be really fun.
Thanks, Kristen.
So thanks for having us, or thanks for coming. So today I'm going to make some really yummy veggie turkey meatloaf with a cranberry ketchup glaze. It's super easy to make, super healthy, and it's a really great comfort meal for the fall. So start out with, depending on how many meatloaves you want to make, if you do 1 pound of turkey, that will make 4 meatloaves. If you want to double it and have 8, 2 pounds. So what I'm going to just show you is the 1 pound. We're going to make a few. These are super easy, super delicious. Pop them in the oven. You're going to love it. So start out with your ground turkey in a bowl. What you're going to do is I have some onion, carrot, zucchini, and a little baby red pepper. Now you can use any color peppers you want. The whole idea is to make the meatloaf tasty because turkey doesn't have a lot of flavor, and you want to make it super fresh and healthy and colorful with the veggies that you put in. So I'm just going to chop up a little bit of red pepper here. Probably 1 small little red pepper is great. And you can just cut it up in little baby pieces. You don't want it to be super big because you don't want them to be too chunky or it'll fall out of the meatloaf. So I'm just going to probably do about a 1/2 cup of each vegetable, which is super easy. And again, you can pick any color that you want. So we're going to just put a little bit of this red pepper in, which is my favorite. Just throw those in there. And then with some onion, you can even throw in a little garlic if you like, or some garlic powder. Easy way to cut an onion is first you chop the onion in half. You're going to peel it, of course. Then you're going to do it so that you have the flat part down on the table, and you cut it in half. And then once you have a wedge like this, you just cut big pieces in. This is already pre-cut a little bit so that I could make it a little quicker today. And then you cut big pieces this way, and then all you do is you chop like this, and you have perfectly diced onions, and it's the best trick I've learned in cooking school. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take some of your onion, throw that in there, and with the zucchini and the carrot, it's kind of hard to get carrots to cut into little teeny pieces, so what I like to do is use a grater, and this is awesome. Basically all you do is just take those out. Just peel your carrots, wash them first, and then just shred it right in there. And it'll make nice little baby-sized pieces of carrot for you. So again, about 1/4 cup of that. So you throw in your veggies. And then you're going to do the same thing with the zucchini. You don't have to peel it. You could if you like, but I'm sure there's lots and lots of nutrition in the skin, so I'm going to leave it on. Just shred that in there until you have about 1/4 cup. And then you're going to add 1 egg per 1 pound of turkey, which I conveniently have here. And just mix that in. Throw in a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. I like this crazy salt because it's got a little bit of onion and garlic and salt and pepper in it. It gives a little flavor. And then just like a little dash, maybe like a tablespoon of Worcestershire. Gives a nice little umami flavor. Dash of garlic powder. Little bit of red pepper. You don't want too much, but just a little bit gives a little bit of a zing, which is kind of nice. And then I like to put in, oh, you've got your breadcrumbs here. It's about 1 cup of breadcrumbs. And then just a tiny dash of some Dijon mustard, which also gives it some flavor. And then what you're going to do, you can also mash this up with your hands or just mix it really, really well with a fork or a knife until you get it all mixed up really well together. And then what I'm going to do is once this is all mixed up, you're just going to basically take the whole turkey, cut it up into like 4 separate pieces, and you're going to form 4 little mini loaves, which I'll show you in a minute. And then the best part is going to be the topping, which is super easy. It's this really gorgeous ketchup, which is super easy, but you mix in some whole cranberry sauce. And I usually put a little dash of Tabasco. Kids may not like it hot, so that's fine. You can leave that out. And then I usually put in also a little bit of garlic powder and maybe just a teeny bit of chili powder to give a little flavor. You could also maybe do a little chipotle if you wanted a little bit of heat. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the dough, like I said, or sorry, the meat, and you're going to just break it up into 4 pieces. And you're just going to make these little mini loaves, kind of pat them together, and just put them in. You can do a larger baking sheet. And then what you're going to do is you're going to brush the top with the glaze, bake it on 400 for about 40 minutes until nice and golden brown. Put some parsley on at the end, and it's an absolutely delicious, heartwarming meal for fall. My mini turkey veggie meatloaves are super easy to make, and they're absolutely delicious with a cranberry ketchup glaze. All you have to do is take 2 pounds of ground turkey or chicken, mix in a couple of eggs, some whole wheat breadcrumbs, and then a small zucchini finely chopped, some shredded carrot, onion, red pepper finely diced, a couple tablespoons of ketchup, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and some garlic powder or a little minced garlic. What you want to do to make the cranberry ketchup glaze is mix in half a cup of ketchup, 1/4 cup of whole cranberry sauce, a little bit of chili powder, and a little bit of garlic powder, and set that aside. All you have to do is combine all the meatloaf ingredients together and then season it with some salt and pepper to taste and form the mixture into 6 to 8 small loaves placed on a prepared baking sheet. Then you're going to bake it for about 40 to 45 minutes, and you're going to want to just serve it with a little additional glaze and sprinkle some fresh herbs on top for garnish. Enjoy. So next we are going to make some really beautiful, colorful roasted honey and herb sweet potatoes, little red potatoes, and purple potatoes, which are my favorite. Super cute, super small, and this is such an easy recipe and is absolutely delicious. I would start out with probably about half a pound or like 4 to 6 of the small potatoes of each. All you're going to do is cut them into quarters. So you're going to cut them into half first. Cut them into quarters, and you're going to layer them all in an even layer on the pan. The important thing is when you're roasting vegetables is try and make the pieces the same size, because some of them, the smaller ones, are going to cook quicker than the larger ones. So try and get them as even as you can. And you don't have to do it any particular size or shape. You can do halves, quarters, you can slice them, whatever you want to do. But just make them consistent. So I love these little baby red potatoes. They're nice and colorful and cute. I got some purple ones as well. You could use regular fingerlings if you like, but these are just more fun and colorful and purple, which is kind of cool and looks like the fall leaves. So we just cut a few more of these. And then I also have some gorgeous sweet potatoes, which are my favorite for fall. Reminds me of Thanksgiving and going home and all the good stuff. So again, these are a little bit larger chunks, so just try and make sure that they're kind of even. But you have a really beautiful display of orange, red, and purple. And what you're going to do is just put the oven on like 400 degrees. And all I do, you can either pre-mix these together in a little bowl and brush them, or you can just kind of drizzle them and toss it in the pan, either way. But basically all you're going to do is take a little bit of olive oil. I actually have this basil olive oil, which is delicious. It just gives a little extra flavor. So you're just going to drizzle a teeny bit of that on, not too much. Sprinkle maybe like a teaspoon, half a tablespoon, some herbs on there. Teeny bit of maybe like a tablespoon of this white wine vinegar. Gives a little tang. And then a little bit of honey. This is the good part. So you just take about 2 tablespoons or so. Just going to kind of drizzle that all. And then what I do is just kind of mix them all up in the pan here. And just make sure that they're, like I said, they're in an even layer. And the honey just gives a really nice sweet flavor, but also has a really nice tang with the vinegar and the basil olive oil. And these are so easy. You just leave it uncovered. Put a little bit of salt and pepper on top. Throw it in the oven for about 40 minutes until they're nice and tender, and you have some gorgeous roasted veggies to go with your meatloaf. And that's it. My honey and herb roasted potatoes are really easy to make, and they're really bright and colorful using sweet potatoes, purple and red potatoes. What you're going to do is take 1 to 2 large sweet potatoes, peel it and cube them into evenly sized pieces. Then you're going to take a half a pound each of purple and red potatoes, wash them and slice them in half, leaving the skins on. Then in another bowl, you're going to mix 2 tablespoons of olive oil, half a cup of honey, a teaspoon of cider vinegar, and a tablespoon of minced shallot. Then what you're going to do is brush that mixture evenly over the potatoes in a roasting pan. Sprinkle a little bit of herbes de Provence or some fresh minced chives or parsley, a little bit of sea salt and ground black pepper, and then you're going to throw it in the oven, 450 degrees, and roast them uncovered for about 35 minutes until they're nicely browned and fork tender. These are absolutely delicious, super colorful, and like I said, delicious with the meatloaf that we just made. So what I've also made for dessert today, and I know we're running out of time, but these are the best part of the meal. A little bit of a dessert, but it's absolutely healthy. These are maple and date oatmeal bars. And they're almost like a homemade Fig Newton, but made with dates. And basically all you do is you buy regular whole pitted dates. You're going to probably take about a cup of those. Chop them up into a little bit of pieces and put them in a pan with a few tablespoons of maple syrup, a little bit of water, and you turn it up to high and you boil it. And what it's going to do is going to kind of macerate together and make almost like a cool sticky jam that's delicious. Once that's done cooking, you want to make sure to adjust the heat a little bit so it doesn't burn. But then you're going to just put a little bit of lemon zest from a lemon rind in there and mix that all up and put that to the side. And then the actual oatmeal bars are made with flour and sugar and butter and oatmeal. You mash all the sugar and the butter together with a blender. Then you're going to mix your flour and a little bit of salt and your oatmeal together. Put that all together so it's kind of a crumbly dough, and then you take a little baking pan, spray it, put the oatmeal down on the bottom. You're going to spread a layer of the maple and date filling, and then put the rest of the buttery, sugary oatmeal delicious topping. Pop it in the oven for about 30 minutes on 400, and it's absolutely delicious. You just cut them up into bars, and it's a healthy and a nutritious, delicious treat for fall. My maple date oatmeal bars are one of my favorite recipes for fall. They're kind of like Fig Newtons, except they're homemade and they're made with dates instead of figs, and there's a nice crunchy top layer and bottom layer made with oatmeal, which is absolutely delicious. What you want to do is take about 1 3/4 cups of pitted dates, chop them up fine, put it in a pan with some water and about 1/3 cup of maple syrup, and you're going to bring it to a boil for about 12 minutes, stirring frequently until it looks like jam. Once you let it cool, stir in some lemon zest. Then you want to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Take about 2/3 cup sugar, half a cup of butter softened, mix it together on medium speed until smooth. Then you want to lightly spoon some flour into dry measuring cup, leveling with a knife. Combine a cup of flour, a cup of oats, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Mix that all together, and then you want to stir that into your sugar mixture with the butter. And at this point, the mixture will be crumbly. Then what you want to do is take half of the mixture, layer it onto the bottom of a 13x9 baking pan coated with spray. Spread your date mixture on top of the flour mixture, and then sprinkle the top with the rest of the flour and oats. Then you want to bake it at 400 for about 20 to 25 minutes until golden brown, and let it cool completely in a pan on a wire rack. Cut it into squares and absolutely enjoy.
Hi Kristen, this is Debbie from Israel. I just saw your program Cooking with Color for Kids, and I really like the recipe of the date bars with the maple in it, and I'd love to try it out, but I have a couple of questions. I'd like a
maple date oatmeal bars. They're actually one of my favorite dessert treats to make for kids in the fall as well. And in terms of using, I know you mentioned you have certain dates over in Israel that you love to use and that are already sort of crushed up and cut up into little pieces, and that's absolutely fine. As long as you use the same amount that's called for in the recipe, which I think is about 1.25 cups, you can use any kind of date you want. And in fact, I've made these before too, where I even added in a little bit of fig jam, which is pre-made. You can get it at any of the gourmet grocery stores. If you add like 1 or 2 tablespoons of that into it, it's absolutely delicious. And actually, you could use figs if you wanted in place of dates, or really probably any kind of fruit, as long as you kind of cooked it down and made a really nice jam out of it. It goes really great with the oatmeal buttery crumb base. In terms of substituting butter, you want to have a little bit of butter in there, and primarily the reason for that is that the fats in the butter mixed with the sugar kind of give it that nice golden brown, crumbly, crunchy texture. So we hope you enjoyed the show and also learned something today as well. And if you'd like to view and download any of the recipes, just visit us at www.ediningnews.com/CWC. And we look forward to seeing you next time on Cooking with Color for Kids.